Very require 86.
Good quality affair, this one. McDonald around about the 90. And Peer around about the 95.
Shot of the fourth leg, Very Van Peer.
The most important stat now is the legs column. 3-1 to Barry Van Peer. He's a leg away from kicking off his campaign. Such a different feeling.
Well, if he wants it.
94.
Decided against it in the end. Waited until the last dart to check Shaun McDonald's score. Saw he wasn't on the finish. And thought, why bother?
$100. Barry require 32.
4-0 to lead Budgen in the opening match of this session. Barry Van Peer completes a 4-1 win in the second, seeing off Scotland's Shaun McDonald in emphatic fashion. A good display as well from the Dutch darter. An average in the end of 93. Hit half of his double attempts, including a high of an 86 checkout. And Barry Van Peer looks very, very dangerous at the start of Group B, which will resume after the break with Budgen taking on Taylor. Not quite managed that.
Require 97. Game shot in the third leg, Lee Budgen.
Found by Budgen to halve the deficit and break the throw.
6.
Could be another clutch finish from Budgen.
Game
and it
shot the
is
sixth
a
leg,
lovely
Lee
96
Budgen.
out shot, denying Taylor a go at the 108 that
He's just stumbled and walked. But he crosses the line.
And the
It
match,
looked early on in that
Scott
game like Scott Taylor was going to run away with it. Lee Budgen dug deep, fought back, got to 3-all, had 9 match darts, wasn't able to convert. Scott Taylor was. He kicks his campaign off with 2 points. Coming up next, 2 players in search of their first points. Shaun McDonald taking on Fallon Sherrock. Bo is the player to beat at the moment on that tour. And Fallon's going to do everything she can to rival that and try and hold on to that match play title.
Yeah, she just having a further dig in the figures. She won 9 out of 17 and then has gone none out of 17 since then. Did reach a final against Bo Greaves, one that I remember well because there's a bit of a delay in it.
On your require 35.
Falling wall. Shaun McDonald hoping to extend this match by levelling it.
Game shot on the second leg,
One apiece,
Shaun
just stopping
McDonald.
Fallon Sherrock in her tracks because she's made a very strong start to this game. Well, Sherrock's still fighting here, although she was getting frustrated with herself. She's still playing at a decent enough standard in this match, and if she can get it together, she can threaten Shaun McDonald here. Then again, he might not give her the chance to do so. His third 180 of the match that. She needs treble 18 to get a go at the bull. Otherwise, he will, barring a disaster,
56.
get a match start here.
On your require 82.
What timing that was from Shaun McDonald. Perfect time to find the 180 and completely turn this leg around. He's going to get 2 darts at double 16. Fallon Sherrock closes her eyes in expectancy. She opens them and rolls them because she expects well, it's a triple double.
He's found everything difficult in this game, in this department. And it carries on. This is remarkable. 19 darts missed at double in the game. And Scott Taylor robs Barry Van Peer. And it's not often you can say that when the scoreline is emphatic as 4-1. But Taylor took his opportunities quite simply. Barry Van Peer didn't. His doubling deserted him. 1 out of 20, just 5%. That tells the whole story of that game. And Scott Taylor knows he's been a lucky boy, but look, he's made the most of that luck. And he's won both of his matches so far. Coming next, Lee Budgen returns to take on Shaun McDonald. Even half of your match from the first night, you're in a very strong position.
Yeah, just mentioned to Henry that Fallon could just get 1 win on the board tonight. He'll still give her that opportunity. Well, it's double 19 here for Shawnee Mac. And there's that combination finishing I was saying that is so strong for him.
It's a similar position to what he was in the previous leg. If this first starts a single, It'll be another single to a double. Staying there. No, he's gone for 12. For tops.
Game.
Well, he's found a way. I thought he might have moved because it might have been a bit of a blocker on that tops. But he gets there in the end, and it's a second successive match. The Lee Budgen has gone down 4-3. When you look at the stats, Shaun McDonald was good value for it. Should have had a match start earlier. 4 out of 6 on the doubles. That's impressive. A 118 in there as well, and an average north of 90. He's just got one match left to play. That's in a couple of games' time. But next up, it's Berry Van Peer against Fallon Sherrock. 3-5. She'll start on the bullseye. And she's left it pretty open. Oh, absolutely divine darts from Fallon Sherrock. She laid down a marker alongside the ball and used it perfectly in the previous match.
We've only seen 100 average twice so far this week.
109.
It looks like we're on course to see it again.
96.
Nice average on record for any woman is 113.43. Fallon Sherrock earlier this year became the first woman to hit a 9-dart finish in a PDC tournament. No female player has ever
96.
done it on TV.
41.
Yet. She was 7 in. A great effort there from Fallon Sherrock. That would have been a fantastic way to end what has been a
89.
what's got to be said, a faultless performance here from Fallon Sherrock.
Barrier require 86.
He was staring down the barrel of a 4-0 defeat. And all of a sudden, he's crawling this one back.
106.
Looking to tie this one up, having trailed it 3-0. Double 16.
Game shot on the 6th leg.
As quick as a flash.
Berry
Van Peer has forced the deciding leg.
That's been and gone. It was at this target. There's a handful of darts now to wrap this one up. And in a game that she raced into a 3-0 lead in, she nearly tretters to a historic 9-dart leg. Berry Van Peer brought it back to 3 apiece, but Fallon Sherrock gets over the line, holds it all together, and wraps it up with a 17-dart leg. A good game of darts, nonetheless. Coming next, Shaun McDonald, Scott Taylor.
The treble 20. And it's tops for Taylor. 2 at it. Becomes 1 at 10s.
Game shot on the 5th leg.
Scott Taylor finds himself in front and still on course for a clean sweep tonight. Wrong in that one. And Shawnee Mac will get a go. Double 16. Oh, what a finish that is.
Shaun McDonald.
Really under pressure. Really needed to take it. Zones in on the target. He's just seen his opponent miss for the match. Fails to find it. Double 10.
Game shot.
And he nails it last start in hand. And in doing so, ends Scott Taylor's hopes of an unbeaten night. But he will return at the end of the evening to face Fallon Sherrock in a bid to try and join Scott McDonald on 6 points. That is his haul for the first night of action in Group B. 3 wins from 4. That 108 clutch checkout, real big difference, deciding factor in that match. And then after Taylor missed tops for the 154, McDonald went out and gets over the line. As I said, Taylor back to face Sherrock in the final match, but first, Berry Van Peer will take on Lee Budgen. Berry Van Peer has been proved right. Can he get it right? He does.
Shot and the match.
And it's victory for Van Peer in what is a final match of the evening for that pair. A 4-2 success over Lee Budgen. Nothing too much to write home about in performances, but Berry Van Peer bags the points. And there's one more match left to come tonight. It's Scott Taylor against Fallon Sherrock. Well, this is 1-4-1 after 9.
If she takes this, can we clip it together and say she did the 9?
Well, she's done all parts of the equation now, just not in the same leg. Fallon Sherrock can look to double her points haul by landing double 8. This is difficult.
Game, shot.
But she's found a way, and she's found a way to turn her evening around. Fantastic Fallon sees off Scott Taylor with a 4-1 success, an average again north of 90. That brilliant 1-4-1 finish to go with the 102 in the leg prior, and a couple more 180s to add to her ever increasing tally this week. It means that Sherrock turns the night around, losing her first 2 matches and then winning her last 2. For Scott Taylor, the opposite applies. And the last thing to do is to hear from Matthew Edgar, who is alongside Henry Deacon.
Yeah, thank you very much indeed, Chris. Fallon Sherrock, a case of a session of 2 halves.
When we was up here last, the very last question you asked me was, what does Fallon Sherrock have to do for the rest of the night? And I said, she needs to win. She's gone and done that. But I think the first question you should ask Fallon Sherrock is, what did she do differently going into the second half of that evening? Because that second half was completely contrast to the first. The first part of it, I was really worried for her. I thought, this looks like a player who's going to be finishing bottom of the table tonight. She was not at the races. She was missing doubles. And then all of a sudden, she hit that finish. The spark came. She played fantastic. She had a 1-4-1 finish. She had a 102 finish. She had a 135. So many 180s. Nearly did the 9-darter. That back half of the night was brilliant.
Shall we have a look at the 9 attempt? Because we almost made history, didn't we, this evening?
Well, we had the 1-4-1 in the last game, so I'm sure we could make this look like she did the 9-darter anyway, couldn't we?
This is a bit of Edgar TV here.
A bit of funky editing. I think you can make it happen, yeah?
Well, this is the second max here. And then what's it like to be in this position once that treble goes in? Is the heart accelerating at that moment?
Oh, yeah, you can see from the reaction there, she's already starting to think about what could be, and the mind starts running away really from the second you get that second 180, because you know you're on it. There's no way of getting around from it. You know you are. I think the only benefit here was that we didn't have a crowd at this point, because they would then build up that sort of ambience and that atmosphere, and then you're trying to play in that cauldron. So a bit of a bonus there. It's a shame it didn't go, but when you say what happens here, that's when we just slip over the 1-4-1 finish from that game. We just put that bit in, and me and Murph can voice over that we can make that fit.
I'm sure we can make it work somehow. Right, let's have a look at the table at the midway point in the group, because as great as Fallon Sherrock has been in the second half of the evening, it's Shaun McDonald who is at the top of that table. 6 points to his name. But you know what? It is going to be a session full of carnage tomorrow, isn't it, elsewhere?
I don't know how to now predict those other positions. I'm surprised to see Sherrock and Van Peer actually in second position, but look at the legs column, +1, and he's in second position. Welcome to this week's Group B. It is going to unfold probably around about Game 6 tomorrow. That first lap of fixtures, I think, is just going to give us the warm-up, the appetizer for what's to come. But this is really going to get juicy around fixture 2 and 3.
As for Shaun McDonald, Punisher by name, Punisher by nature, and he just finds a way to pull out finishes out of the fire, to find moments out of the fire.
So
He did exactly that against
from the
tonight.
first night, you're in a very
People
strong
tend
position.
to get into a situation against Shaun McDonald where they have a shot first, whether it's a dart or
Fallon should
2
just get
darts,
one win on the board
and then
tonight, he'll still
he
give it that
steps up
opportunity.
and hits the finish. I can see
double
where he gets the
19
nickname from the
from
Punisher,
Shaun
because
Mac
he stepped in and took
Shaun
every
Mac
single opportunity
combination
presented to him.
that one.
If you want to beat Shaun McDonald, you have to actually beat him. And to beat him properly, you can't let him have an opportunity. You have to be
Shawnee
taking those 1 or 2
Mac, we're gonna
dart
go.
chances.
And as far as a
16.
player like Shaun is concerned,
Oh,
I
what a
spoke to
finish
him
that
this
is.
evening. He
Shaun
said
McDonald.
darts isn't the be-all and end-all for him. He's got a job elsewhere. That's his priority at the minute. He comes here, of course, with that competitive edge, that competitive nature, but ultimately there's an enjoyment factor for him. It's not a case of coming here and everything's on the line when he's here. How much does that make a difference?
Makes a massive difference. I can speak from the voice of experience in this, from someone who's played on the Pro Tour, where you're paying your bills by winning games of darts, and then when you've got other commitments or other things going on in your life, well, actually, then you win because you want to win, not because you have to win. And certainly when you lose a match, you don't come off thinking about what the opportunities was, or what the potential prize money was, or the other opportunities it could have opened up. You just think about the match, and he's in a very, very luxury position, and very enviable for a lot of people to have that sort of background.
Berry Van Peer this evening. I feel like as the days go on, we talk about another different component about Berry's game. Tonight it was the missed doubles, which came to cost him in the early part of the session. What do you think's happening with him this week?
I honestly don't know. He's got me at a loss. I have an opinion on everything. Literally everything.
Yeah, he does.
But with Berry Van Peer, I'm really struggling to pinpoint where... I mean, is it going wrong? He's in second position. You know, are we nitpicking here?
Is it because we got such an expectation of him, do you think?
Absolutely. But we've only got the expectation of him because he's built that expectation. He's built that reputation. He comes here with that form line, and we're only judging him by that. That's not what we're seeing here. But there's still nothing saying he's going to get through and go and win Saturday, and then you'll be asking him on Saturday, it's been a rocky road to get to this position. So don't discount Berry Van Peer is the moral of the story, but there's something just not clicking.
Well, we are going to see what happens in Group B tomorrow, and I'm not going to be cruel. I'm not going to ask you a prediction because it is going to be a case of trying to predict the unpredictable as far as that's concerned. But we are going to be back tomorrow at 1 o'clock. It is the conclusion to our Group C action. Now, that is being spearheaded at the minute by Jamie Kelling. He won 4 out of his 5 matches. Him and Alex Small will be jostling out for those top 2 spots. It's another tightly contested group. But as far as Group B is concerned, well, Shaun McDonald punished the lot.